everyone, Faith, Gavin, and Sheila on the beach in Tel Aviv. Well, we're wrapping up a crazy whirlwind tour of Israel. We've been from everywhere from Jerusalem to Bethlehem to here in Tel Aviv. We've climbed up Masada and we've even gone swimming in the Dead Sea. And we've learned a lot on the ground, so we thought we'd do a little bit of a casual video on some of the takeaways. So, Gavin, I'll start with you.
Okay.
What was one thing that you learned or that shocked you while you were here?
I guess the weirdest thing was the settlements. I had always assumed there were these sort of tents on rocky crags surrounded with Palestinian kids throwing rocks, but they look like British neighborhoods. Now, whether that's the PLO's land or their land, I understand that controversy, the same as I always did, but it's not settlements, it's contested neighborhoods.
I guess for me, the most shocking thing is that there is apartheid here. Don't get me wrong, there is apartheid here. But the apartheid isn't the Israelis imposing it on the Palestinians. The Israelis are imposing it on themselves. They're keeping themselves out of their holiest sites to prevent controversy. They keep themselves out of Gaza. They keep themselves out of portions of the West Bank. They're imposing apartheid on themselves. The Palestinians can freely come and go. It's the Israelis who are living under apartheid.
Yeah, that's another thing I didn't realize. Even when I saw the sign that said no Israelis behind this point, it was the Israelis who put up that sign.
Yeah. Absolutely. For me, I think it was how much of a red-pilled nation Israel actually is. These are like the OGs of the ethno-state and building the wall. So that for me was like a little bit of a wake-up call, even though they do have problems with socialism as well. But okay, do you have any lessons for the West, something that you want to take back?
Well, one lesson from the West I'd like to give to the West is stop being such a pussy. I mean, with this trip, there's two things, right? There's coming here and seeing the geography and understanding the boots on the ground and knowing now what Gaza means, what two-state is, what one-state is, where West Bank is. I can picture it now very clearly in my mind. My opinions are still the same, but the only way they've changed is I've realized. I came here going, you guys should stop apologizing for the fact that you established this state. No, every state is established like that. Japan stole it from the Ainu. We stole it from the Indians, whatever you want to call it. That's how countries are born. But when I got here, I realized they're doing a lot more than apologizing. They're capitulating. You know, when Sharon moved the Jews out of the West Bank, that capitulation caused more problems. So I guess geographically, it's been a huge lesson, but psychologically, I've come here going, guys, if there's anything you should learn from your own situation is that capitulation doesn't work. Stop apologizing and just enjoy the wall.
So I guess my point would be the same as Gavin's, but my opinion was hardened in Sderot. So Sderot is a town that's a kilometer from Gaza. They're under constant mortar attack from Gaza. Every bus stop is a bomb shelter. The playgrounds, the kids can't go in the playgrounds that are being newly constructed until the bomb shelter is built. The children's elementary schools look like children's prisons with fortified roofs to keep them safe from the bombs. And I asked a dad named Eddie, why he still lives there along the edge of Gaza, just surrounded by terror. And he said, this is my home. I won't be driven from my home by terror. And if I give up my home, where do they stop? They being the Gazans. If they push me out of here, they'll keep pushing us until they push us into the sea.
I think for me, it was the wake-up call of what life looks like when jihad is your neighbor. Yeah. Israel is a sliver of the world. All of it could be put into New Jersey, and it is surrounded by hostile neighbors from Syria to Lebanon, and they've got hostile neighbors inside their own borders. And what that means is a giant security fence that goes on for kilometers and kilometers. 95%, by the way, is just a fence. Only 5% of it's an actual wall. You see these kids who have PTSD, 85% of the folks in Sderot. And you look at what's happening in Europe right now, and you realize that there's a clash of civilizations, and there are people who subscribe to a certain sort of ideology that can be described as nothing shy of evil, when there are 85% of children in a community that have PTSD from running into bomb shelters. And for me, it was a huge wake-up call to basically forget all the PC BS, because the reality that Israelis face every single day is now already has been imported to places like Paris, across Sweden, even in the UK. And for the three of us who live, across the pond, we're starting to see evidence of the same with our own sloppy immigration policy, although I know Trump's trying to fix it. So it's been a hugely illuminating trip. To be clear, we came here just so that way we could get a better handle on one of the most volatile regions in the Middle East, which is a pretty tough competition to win these days. And I think I speak for all of us when I say mission accomplished. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much, guys, for being here. I had a great time with you guys. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in at home. We hope you watched not only this video, but all of our videos. We got into all the different weeds and nuances of the Israeli versus...
We're being forced to say this. There are soldiers with guns pointed to us right now. We will be killed if we don't chill for Israel. Ezra and Israel. Someone send help now, please.
Long live Israel. Thanks, guys. For all of our videos and to help support our journalism on the ground, please visit rebelisrael.com.